The Life of Phys Podcast is lit by Harlow. Harlow is on a mission to empower creators to elevate their creativity with lighting kits made to last and built to inspire. These lights are bold, beautiful, and powerful because Harlow believes that your lights deserve to be seen. To learn more, follow them on Instagram at Harlow Creators or online at www.harlow.com, and don't forget to use our discount code Tyson10 to save 10% on your order. Welcome to the Life of Phys Podcast. I'm your host, Tyson Martin. On this episode, I have Devin Allen. Devin is a self-taught artist who gained national attention when his photograph of the Baltimore Uprising was published on the cover of Time in May of 2015. A native of Baltimore, Devin has achieved a rare feat as only the third amateur photographer Time selected to feature on a cover. In 2017, he was named the first fellow of the Gordon Parks Foundation Fellowship and was nominated for an NAACP Image Award as a debut author for the book A Beautiful Ghetto. Devin was chosen to serve as a 2020 ambassador for Leica cameras, and following the untimely deaths of George Floyd, Tony McDade, and Breonna Taylor, Time once again acknowledged and honored Devin's artistry by selecting one of the images from a Black Trans Lives Matter protest to grace the cover of their June 2020 issue. Devin's powerful imagery of Black life has been featured in New York Magazine, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Aperture. His photography is also featured in permanent collection at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture, the Reginald F. Lewis Museum, the Jules Collins Smith Museum, and the Studio Museum in Harlem. His new book, No Justice, No Peace, From the Civil Rights Movement to Black Lives Matter, was released in October of 2020 under the Legacy Lit imprint by Hatchet Book Group. Devin and I touch on many different subjects. We had a few audio issues throughout, so we'll have to run it back in our second interview. But I appreciate everybody coming back after my long hiatus, and we will talk soon.
Hey, Devin Allen, born and raised in West Baltimore, artist, photographer. The story is funny because I'm actually rewrite my origin story. When I found the camera, I had a friend who where I'm at now, in the same neighborhood as my grandmother's house. We went to school and we're like polar opposites. Like he was like star athlete, straight A student, was in like JRTC, wanted to go to the army. Just like the perfect person in school. And I was like polar opposite, which is funny is we're both Gemini. And I was the knucklehead, I was always fighting, cutting class, getting in trouble. I was the menace. And, we found each other later in life. And he was into poetry. That was like his coping mechanism while he was in the army. And he wanted to go a poetry night. And at this time, I was trying to find myself. I was around, had a daughter at 19. And, she kind of inspired me to want to change my life. If you know anything about Baltimore, you think about The Wire, watch The Wire, and things like that. So it's kind of tough here. I've been through a lot of things. I've been subjected to gun violence at the age of like 15 years old. My first friend was murdered. And, I didn't plan my life at 21. But, I just got these and trying to keep my mother off my back because I had a very active mother, but I led into and ran into street culture and I started hustling, getting into trouble. I was selling drugs and things like that, but my daughter kind of made me want to, just be better. My dad wasn't in my life really, and I really wanted to be not just like, oh, that's my dad. He took care of me. I wanted to be like a cool dad, brag about, And so I was like, what? I didn't know what I wanted to do. So, like I said, I didn't plan my life at 21, and here I am, 19, 20 years old, daughter, gave up hustling and then got a regular job. When I ran back to my friend, I was just working a 9 to 5, but I was going parties on the side to make extra money in, so like I was going out every week, throwing parties. I don't know how people do it. It's really tiring, but partying, popping bottles, and this is before social media really was a thing. Yeah, MySpace, but we had to add no actual fire to put flyers on your door of your car to make you come to our party. And he wanted to throw a poetry night. And I thought it was a dumb idea because, art is something that was never offered to her where we come from. I had one art class, like maybe middle school, maybe my ninth grade, where you draw a square and then you draw a line to this way. Now your square is three-dimensional. It's a cube, and that was it. We didn't know any artists. So I was like, I'm not doing that. I think it's a waste of time. But then he was like, like he spit like a Maya Angelou poem or something. Like, yeah, I know a Maya Angelou poem, a Langston poem. I didn't know about poetry or being just with poetry, not doing it. And he taught me into it. His punchline and his thing was just like, women love poets. And that was, why didn't say that in the beginning? Women like poetry, we're doing a poetry. And that was like my first introduction, which I thought was, and that I was a humble poet. So I was terrible. He was so good. He thought of poets and did his thing, and it introduced me to a different way of life. So it was just like, oh, I found something that I was interested in. I was, working this job, and I just remember the conflicting moment where I started to change as a person. I'm a dad now, and interested in art. But my friends who I used to hustle with, I hung outside with, didn't really like the change that happened to me. It went from me, being outside, running from police, hustling, drinking, just smoking. I didn't really have no plan. I just was trying to get money and partying all the. But when I found the art form, it kind of inspired me to do other things. So from chilling around the way, hanging outside, those things kind of abruptly ended. Where I was just worried about poetry, worried about the art, and starting to hang with a different set of people that like this. Kind of put a wedge between me and like my best friend. And unfortunately, when I started this journey, I remember Googling, Gordon Parr, because I was a horrible poet. But around the time Instagram had came up, and anybody remember OG Instagram, you couldn't even post captions. It was only pictures, which I missed. And so we needed to take pictures to post about the poetry night. So he gave me a little small Nikon Coolpix camera, and I would take pictures at the poetry night. But then he was like, people were wearing like H&M and like Urban Outfitters. It was like this whole way wearing graphics. Like no one, you don't know who like Johnny Cash was or Bob Dylan, but it was a graphic shirt with my person had it on. And he was like, yo, we should take pictures and put them on t-shirts. So I was like, all right, bet. And my friends had a clothing line and they told me like how to get t-shirts and print the shirts. And so we started selling t-shirts. Like we hustled in Baltimore. Like we learned things in street culture, we applied to everything. And so I'm selling t-shirts, we doing poetry, we doing events, it's going really good. But I really fall in love with the human interaction. How if I put the camera on a person, my friends just adjust and change and let me see my posture. My homeboys with toes and like, and how I look. It really brought a sense of joy. Definitely, growing up here, not in the sense of like sorrow. We just go through a lot at a very young age. So like a lot of us with a lot of trauma and things that, average person, I didn't realize it wasn't normal until I left the community. Like I said earlier, my friend was killed, down the street when I was like in high school. It was my first time dealing with death. So it's something that I've been with all my life. And from there, I was like, I want to be, and I just, but everybody laughed at all my friends. You can't make money off picture this. You can't do this. You need to go to art school. And it just was like met with all the negative remarks, you know. And my homeboy, while I was going to poetry and everything, like, that's dope, you know, keep taking pictures. And I fell in love with it. And I didn't, only support I really had was like my mom and my grandma. Like, my homeboys didn't really believe in me because of what I used to, you know. Everybody knows Devin Allen, but everybody in Baltimore that grew up with me, they know me as Moody. You know, that was my childhood nickname that I got when I was maybe like 13, maybe 14, because of my short temper. You know, I had a very short temper, and I would go 0 to 100 and then like a 0. It was like, yo, you know, Moody, you know, and I used to play basketball at the court, and I would just flip out and get so irritated and then calm down and apologize. And he's like, yo, yeah, you so Moody.
What I want to just bang in here real quick, Devin, is I posted an image of my desk here with just some things that inspire me to continue creating from my space here or with my camera. And I had your book in the background where it's sitting currently with my headphones and my computer or my keyboard and my little Ricoh that I carry every day. And when I posted just thanking you for your work. Yeah, dude.
You gotta keep up people.
Yeah. The amount of your family that commented on that post. Thank you for sharing my nephew. Thank you for sharing my son. Dude, you have some amazing supports.
Yeah.
And I love that. That actually, you know, that made me feel in a way because my adoptive family is my mom and dad have both passed away now. And sorry, you know, I have a super supportive wife and my kids are so supportive, which is fantastic. And I have a group of friends that do it. But man, there's nothing like seeing family step up. And they don't know me from a hole in the ground. They just saw me tag you in it and they were like on it. And it was so cool to read. So I just wanted to step in and say that's amazing to have that support system.
Yeah.
And like I told you earlier, I'm a huge fan. I'm very, very grateful for your time today. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but when you were talking about family and how you got the nickname, it just did hit me that I remembered reading that on that photo. So you're very fortunate to have such a great support system around you, not only from your family, but from people around the world. You know, we're all behind you. So we'll let you continue. I interrupted. I interrupt all the time. So
no, it's
all right.
Yeah, you know, family. You know, like that's how I survived Baltimore. You know, like I said, Baltimore is tough. Like you can't see it, but I had photos of like that I worked on where these are like my best friends, you know, and that's the sad thing about photography. You know, you capture things when people are gone. You know, so like when I first found photography, it was I didn't know what I wanted to do, what I wanted to say. I just wanted to do this. And I remember that you can't go. I think she stole it from somebody, but she said it. She was like, you want to know you got to know your past. Like, I never knew. My mom says little quotes and stuff here and there. I just like, whatever. But the older I got, I started to listen. And so the first thing I did was Google famous Black photographers. I found Google Plus. And I just thought he was so cool. Like, he had like the jean shirt. You know, he's the reason why like the reason why I wear my mustache the way I do, love jean shirts and Canadian tuxedos. You know, like he would have like the jean shirt with the pipe or the cigar, hair slicked back, was so smooth. But it's the way that he captured back his sports, you know, how he was able to maneuver not only in America, but go to Brazil, go to Paris, in a time where racial tension was like one of his highest points. He was directing. He was shooting Muhammad Ali. He was one of the most pivotal and controversial athletes to ever grace the world. He's hanging with Cassius Clay when he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. He's hanging with Malcolm X. You know, one of the first to talk over the Elijah Muhammad allowed him to document the Muslim faith in a new way, which I had their root. Life magazine upstairs that was given to me.
Oh man.
It was given to me by friends back to friendship and family. That's nice. Shout out to Giordano, who never made a photographer from Baltimore.
I'll grab that name from you and I'll tag him.
Phenomenal photographer. He ruined a lot of art in the time from being in my shop.
When I found Gordon Parks, what I looked at was he's capturing photos that general America would never see because of the racial tensions that were going on during that era.
Yeah.
And, coming from my indigenous background in the same similar scenarios, it's so important to capture those moments. Those moments are history making. Those moments are moments that will never be seen again, but they bring so much to the story. Like I look at Gordon Parks photos, or I look at your photos of the protests and things, and I know, like, I look into them, but there's so many different stories in one photo. Like you're capturing, it's a multi-dimensional story, and just the way that it's captured, and the inspiration that you found from Gordon Parks and that history that he had. I mean, Muhammad Ali, come on. Malcolm X, come on, like insane. And then, and now you're continuing that, and you're continuing to inspire the youth, and you're continuing to push the next generation to want to be not the next Devin Allen, but to want to be themselves. And they want to look up to what Devin Allen did. So it's like you're continuing the chain of the Gordon Parks inspired you, you're inspiring the next generation, and it will continue that run. And that's so important in this culture. I'm all about building community.
Yeah, right.
I would much rather have a huge community of friends than feeling like I'm always competing, which is kind of the bad side of the photographic industry.
Yes.
So like I love the fact that I have a couple of friends that are like, hey, I'm going to be here and I need someone to come second shoot. And now they hop on and they're like, hey, I'm in town. Like, let's hook up. Let's do this. And people are starting to work together. They're collaborating. They're building projects as a group instead of, hey, I'm doing this project. Look at me. Oh, I'm doing this project too. And they keep building all these. They're bringing everybody together. And I feel there's enough space and there's enough jobs out there that we can all lift each other up, elevate, and grow.
Yeah. That's part of the journey. That's what I think sets me apart from a lot of my peers that I came in the game with. Growing up in Baltimore, I studied really, really a lot. Like, I studied Gordon. A lot of people don't know that when I took where Freddie Gray had, I only had a camera for 2 years. So, you're looking at, when I first got my camera, I got it in 2013 in January.
Thank you, Grandma.
Thank you. Yep, Grandma. Let me use that Best Buy credit card. And I got my first camera. What happened to me was it was just a hobby at first. It's fun. I didn't really start taking it seriously until my friends got. So I got my camera in January. And then my friends, who I talked about a little bit earlier, who didn't really like the transition to be an artist and moving differently. And I had a whole different thought process, being a dad, trying to become an artist. And I wanted to see that, it still was in the street culture where I had removed myself. So my best friend was murdered. He shot 7 rounds of the grandmother. And I remember I just had found out what Pirate Bay was. So I couldn't afford Photoshop. This was back when you could go buy Photoshop. You didn't need a subscription and all that crap. Just go buy the disc, buy it, download it, you have it, you own it. So I didn't have the money to get it, so I hacked it through torrents. I crashed my Mac that I got from a pawn shop maybe once or twice trying to do it, but finally I got Lightroom and like Photoshop like 5 or something. I don't know. So I'm playing with Photoshop, Lightroom, got all the hack. I got like air first, got a hack it through the torrents, and then I got a call to my friend had this. And I'm like, hey, like, I've been shot at before. I've seen people, heads get blown off of permanent. Like, it's a part of the lifestyle. It's a part of Baltimore to subject yourself to that state. So I'm like, is he good? I'm seeing him. They're like, oh, like, he's dumb. And this was like my right-hand man, but we had grown apart over the course of the last year because we argued on it. Because he was like a big brother because he was older than me, but I was moving. And I'm just like, bro, I want to do this. I don't want to be house. I don't want to do these things. You know, I want to hustle. Or this is the type of time I'm on. He didn't really understand the change that would happen inside of it. Instead of embracing it, he kind of met me like this, like, no, this is what we do, you know, and missing the depth. But, you know, and I remember going to see his mom, and I remember just getting that head in the kitchen, grandmother house. And I came and I hugged her. I told her everything was going to be okay. And little brother was in there, you know, because we were that close. Like, his mom called me son. My mom called him son. You know, we were that close. And we had another best friend, and he was a lot. Like, he was like real no nonsense type of guy. And I remember going upstairs. He was upstairs. I just remember him being super drunk. And I just hugged him tight and like, yo, bro, we gonna figure this out. Everything will be good. And when I hugged him, I remember it was a clip from the gun poking me in my side. And I was like, what you about to do? You know, he's like, I'm gonna go kill whoever to our humble. And I just was like, we don't know what happened yet. Calm down. You're thinking your mind is not clear right now. He wasn't trying to hit anything I was saying. And I just like, yo, put the gun up. Let's pause. Let's celebrate his life. Let's get us out later on. But he was like, all right, I'm going to go drop the gun off. I'm going to meet you. And I was like, yo, at the time I was hanging with some guys they were tattoo artists, but they were heavy Basquiat fans and Andy Warhol fans. Where though they were older than me, but they have been they're popular in the city for tattooing, but they start implementing art into their tattoo. You know, my friend Da Vinci tattoos, his name was Riggs, but then they had friends, Cody, that would make line. They just like the cohort of just like some guys from the neighborhood that were into art, and I gravitated to that. And they kind of took me under their wing. They made art books, art documentaries, and they gave me a building. You know, they had a building where they would tattoo upstairs, and they would allow me to just in the basement, and in the lobby. So I was like, yo, we gonna go over here. I gotta do a photo shoot, and then we throwing an event in the building, just come here. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna meet you. And I remember picking up another friend, who was like a brother to us. And when I got to the States, I just got another call that he had been shot in the head right after I left. So I lost both my best friends over the weekend. And the only reason I wasn't with them, I was so adamant about taking it.
It's amazing what, I mean, rest in peace to your homeboys like that. That's craziness to think. Like, you just made that, you chose to go right instead of the left that day. And I had a similar experience with a friend back in high school. He's like, hey man, I can make us some quick money. We just got to do this, this, and this. And I was like, nah, man, I'm cool. Like, I'm gonna go grab my skateboard, and I'm heading downtown. Like, you do you. And I've never seen him since. So no records, no history, no nothing. Don't know what happened. Don't know where he went. But that's what's so important about those choices. You find something that you're passionate about, whether it's photography, painting, tattooing, clothing, whatever it is, you follow that journey, even when you feel like an outsider, because, you know, your friends all want you to be there with them. Let's go do this. Let's take care of this. But you were like, no, I am on this path. I'm a father. We became fathers around the same age. I was 20. And the world's grateful that you're here because you made that choice, and that inspiration you offer to so many people now comes from the heartache and pain that you felt and that you suffered, that you can offer wisdom on, especially in the Baltimore community, right? Yeah. You can offer the youth, you can be like, hey, there's another way. Let me show you. And, man, I commend you for that. I think what you do in your community, to inspire and uplift those around you is second to none, and more people need to do that.
No, appreciate it.
I'd love to send you just some of my Life of Phys stickers to pass out to the youth.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, just to start, and then, you know, we talked earlier, we got potentially some plans that we can work together on, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah,
we'll touch base maybe in part 2.
Yeah.
So you had this place where you could show up, and you were, they let you use the basement in the lobby. How instrumental was that into you crafting who you are today?
Yeah, I think it was important because, like, once again, I didn't know any artists. So, like, this journey was a lonely journey. Like, my friend was a poet, but eventually he stopped. You know, uh, he didn't look at art the way that I found it. For me, it had gotten serious. Like I said, once my friends died, I took it real. Like, this was my calling. Like, if it if other flowers from you, where did that come from?
So Zoom has hand gesture. So I you have to go in and turn it off. I don't know. I had to go do it again. So you can do, like, if you hold your thumb up, like thumbs up, it'll start showing like thumbs up icons. And you could do it again. Nope. That's all good, man. I love it. I think it's hilarious.
So I took it very, like I said, I took it very seriously. It was like, this was my thing. You know, uh, I found my calling. I didn't know quite what I wanted to say yet, but this was my thing. And seeing, like, these guys take me, and they older, we're all from like West Baltimore neighborhood, like they've had local legends for it. Like, they won't see themselves as that, like Richard Chief and Ted, since I was in like high school. He Ted all around us. And now they seen something in me that my mother saw, that I just had this thing, but they would tell me, like, yo, you're really good. Keep going. And they believed in me so much. Like, they didn't charge me rent, anything. Like, even when they went to get a new studio, I was like, I can't afford to pay up money, but and I hold the key. Like, you just see, they believed in me, like, and I gravitated towards that. But it was very monumental, and being comfortable with being an artist. It's like, I was made fun of. A lot of my friends make jokes. It plays on your like, most of the talk that we knew were like, you might have in the club taking pictures. That's what we knew a lot of the talk from. You want your picture taken in the club, or someone had a baby shower or a wedding, but for me, I looked at photography differently. It was from studying going. It was like, I wanted to tell a story, and I found out who I was through the camera. And Gordon had this quote where he said, I could have turned to the gun and the knife, but the camera was my choice. And I found that out in 2014, my grant. And in 2011, my friend was killed by Baltimore police officers in an altercation where Sean Gander, probably the nicest guy ever. He sung at the Apollo, choir, football, a goofball, just a sweet human being. And he got to an altercation where they off-duty police officer was being aggressive with a young lady that was with him, and they got into a fight. They didn't know he was an off-duty police officer. And when they got thrown out of the club, they did an altercation in front of the club, and the off-duty police officer pulled a gun out. And on-duty police officers saw a black man with a gun, not knowing that he was an off-duty police officer. The off-duty police officers tried to shoot my friend, and in return, they saw a black man with a gun. But on-duty police officers started shooting, killing the off-duty police officer and striking my friend too. And I remember them having protests for him, but my mindset back then was, this is life. It is what it is. Not change anything. This is the culture. This is Baltimore. It is what it is. But fast forward, I find the cat 3 years later, Mike Brown acting, and I say, Baltimore is a very active city. If anyone doesn't know, Baltimore is one of them things, they stop and is solidarity for everything. We have activist groups here that organize, donate, do a lot of work on the ground, and very well trained. And I remember an activist group throwing us out of dirty parts for Ferguson after after Mike Brown was Ferguson. And I said, I'm gonna go and document this. And I remember in it and feeling that energy and that tension. And in this moment, I just was like, this would go up. You know, like I'm documenting. It was like this in school, like feeling like some change, you know, being naive. Following year, Freddie Gray happened. And the thing is, Baltimore is small. You know, you got Baltimore at one point was like the murder capital of America, but we're smaller than Chicago. We're the size of like Brooklyn in New York, which is just one borough, small city. We were once the heroin cap of America. So here we are. So like we grew up very tough, very rugged, we're not even aggressive people. Not in New York. We ever been in New York, you know, like they walk fast, they so aggressive. Baltimore is like, we have like that Southern hospitality a little bit. A lot of our ancestors came from like the Carolinas, you know, and from the South. But we have like a little slow motion, but we can be aggressive and we're very built for us. Like, that's how we are. So I knew, you know, when Freddie Gray happened, I knew before it even hit the news. Like before it hit the news, you know, like the main and national. Because people were sending a video via text message. And so Freddie Gray from Gilmore Homes, which is maybe like 10 minutes, maybe 15 with traffic where I'm like sitting at right now. You know, so me and Freddie Gray are like a couple people removed. So we know a lot of similar people. I know people that grew up with him and things like that. So when it happened, people were saying in group chats, yo, see what happened. We're going to protest. So activist groups are organizing. You got to think about it. When Freddie Gray was on a bike and he had a knife on him, he was stopped and they beat him up. They actually broke his leg before they put him in the patio. And they put him, they called a rough ride. And they said that rough ride severed his spine. So if anybody, you know, who doesn't know what a rough ride is, because I've been on, it's when they either take plexi cuffs or the metal cuffs, and they put them real back to the point in your hands, you can't even feel your finger. It's cutting up a circulation from your wrist. And when you get put in a paddy wagon, they're supposed to be strapped in with a seatbelt and with a harness. So, and then when they lock you up, and then they ride around the skate, which we have off roads, high holes, and down. So you in the back bouncing around, you know, it's horrible. You know, but what they do is they go around, like the last time I haven't been arrested in a long time. I'm not going to worry what happened. I'll do it again. But, you know, when I went on a rough ride, they went around, I got arrested at, I'm going to say like 7 p.m. And they rode around locking other people up until like 12 o'clock at night. So I was in this paddy wagon, not strapped in, with plexi cuffs on my wrist. And they rode around locking other people up, doing house raid, or whatever they were doing. I didn't get processed until like 12 o'clock at night, 12 a.m. And so basically, they rode around on a rough ride, basically. And that's how Freddie Gray started and broke his spine in multiple. No. It was another video showed within they pull him out of the paddy wagon before they even made it. So speculation, what I believe, what our whole community, them police whipped his ass and then took him. And they got him. But the thing is with Baltimore is he started protesting before he even passed away. As soon as he was hurt, we started organizing. You know, and I remember going to protest and just saying, I'm going to dedicate my page to Freddie Gray. You know, because that 8 week could have been me, could have been anybody. And I just remember documenting and, you know, documenting. And I never thought that it would be up on the cover time. I didn't even think about that. You know, I remember quick photography because when I shot the Ferguson, the dirty stuff, I tried to get it published and I couldn't get a response from no local media. So I was just like, I was my suck. I was like, this is an important moment. I think it's a beautiful moment. Why can't I get a response? So I was like, literally went to my mom, like, I quit. I'm gonna go find something else. My grandma was, you still got paper in that camera that you put on my credit card. You got to keep shooting. and, and, unfortunately, when I think about this all the time, I remember putting a workout on social media and Twitter, and that's how Time Magazine found my work. The work had started to go viral. And I just remember Freddie Gray, the week before his funeral, we were protesting every day. A lot of people think it was like one day. It was like, talking about a year protest. Like, we were protesting, week before he even passed away, when he succumbed to his injuries. And I just remember, going to sleep at the bench at the press all day. Me and my homie, we went, and I'm not going to say his name, but he's supposed to be watching my bag. But he turned and it was the police cars over. I'm like, you supposed to be watching my bag. And I remember taking a picture. And what I did was, I knew it was going to portray Baltimore as this negative place. Always demonized, thugs, hoodlums, always. So what I did was, I was shooting on the gram and Wi-Fi and everything with social media. And at the time, I was using the Fuji X-T1, which I don't shoot Fuji no more. But I was shooting with an X-T1, then sending it all straight to Instagram, straight to Twitter, while I was on the ground, so I can move faster than media. So by the time all the photographers, but at the time it was really not a lot of photographers around, maybe a couple, and then local like media outlets, they came a little bit later. So when we started, we got a altercation. But before the uprising actually started before the police cars got destroyed. It actually started because drunk Orioles fans and baseball fans were mad that we shut down the stadium. Police, the game still happened, but they knew it was going to be a massive protest. We're talking about like 2,000 people in downtown Baltimore. And they were upset. So they started calling us the N-words and monkeys. And they clashed with the youth. And that's what really started everything. I documented everything. So I shot everything. I went to sleep, and then I just woke up with like 20,000 followers, and that's about it in my work. And that's what Tom found.
That's actually where I found that photo years later, because I didn't start shooting till 2019. Mm-hmm. But I remember seeing that photo, that cover photo, and I was just, there's so much happening in that photo that that's when I think I started following you. I was like, man, this guy's got fire. Like, he's caught real life, but they're fire moments, because you've got people who are, I couldn't even imagine what that was like. I mean, here in Vancouver, they rioted because the hockey team lost the Stanley Cup. Like, they destroyed our city over a game. It's crazy to me. But man, like, you guys are protesting for just to be treated like fairly. Yeah. And you have to clash with people going to a sports game because they were mad that you guys blocked the city. I would love to get you up here for, so there's a march for the murdered and missing Indigenous women and youth in Vancouver. So that's it's called the Highway of Tears. So there's a long history in Vancouver of Indigenous women and youth disappearing. And being found many years later, murdered. They do a protest downtown, and my goal for this year, it hasn't really worked in my schedule in the past, but I'm taking the time off work this year, and I'm going to capture the moment, and I want to capture stories, close-ups, portraits with the people who have lost family, and just try to really, in lack of better words, do my best Devin Allen. So that will be, I just want people to see, but I also want people to understand how amazing these communities are. They get together for this to support others in their, whether it be the Black culture or the Indigenous culture. Everybody is trying to support each other, because we all have a greater picture, is that our communities and our histories are so good, and so powerful and have so much meaning. But there's been so many years of being beat down and thrown of stereotypes and negativity that nobody can get that out of their head, right? I showed up and was welcomed onto the Kwantlen community, and it was the most eye-opening journey of my life. They were the sweetest people. They were humble. They were open. They shared stories, the protocols of their communities, and that's all stuff people don't see. So capturing things the way you did, and that wherewithal to have it being Wi-Fi'd out right from the ground, right from, doing it like, total, instantly. You had no delay. Boom, photos being taken. Boom, they're out. Yeah, that was a smart.
It's kind of dumb. It was dumb when I think about it. We was getting breakfast for me, but I wasn't. So the adrenaline, just the pressure. When I go back in town, I was like, I really could have got hurt.
Yeah,
but I didn't. So.
Yeah. So you go from getting the cover of Time, that was 2015.
Yeah.
And then in between 20 and 15, and I believe you got a second cover of Time in 2020.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for the situation.
Yeah, yes. Let's do it for you, and we're gonna make dates. Yeah.
The fact that this still happens in this day and age it's heartbreaking. I mean, as a parent, my oldest daughter's 30. And as a parent, I can imagine something happening to one of my kids. And to know that these people in the communities that everybody knew are gone because of the actions of people and actions that could have been prevented.
Yeah.
So I can never feel the pain of the community or the family because I'm not part of it either, but I feel the pain as just being a human being in this world.
Yeah. Wish more people felt like
that. Maybe that's something we need to talk about and work on together. Spread that story, brother.
Yeah, that's the power of photography. And I know a lot of people look at the work and be like, yo, you got tea time covers. And it's like, I have to walk around. And it plays with my mental health. Where I walk around and always, anything that I did, I always know my sister, because a black man died. Freddie Gray, inspired that, and the work that I captured following, I always try to maneuver with a certain type of like gumption or, and I keep, that in my head ingrained in me. I wish I could take pictures of just flowers and, and stuff like that. But, this is my call. It's my life work. It's Freddie Gray's anniversary was next year. It will be 10 years. I've been on it since I started it, but I can say I've seen changing people since I started, when I started photography, I felt so alone in it, but I've seen and been the change that I wanted to. I've seen it. I have kids where I felt like Freddie Gray gave me a platform, right? He gave me that time covered aided me a platform, where I was travel the world about Baltimore, do art shows in Italy, being sponsored by Under Armour. I'm a full-time employee at Under Armour. They respected the work that I did, and I went and needed a job as an artist, and I wanted to learn the business, and they've been supportive of the work since I've been a photographer. So I decided I was going to stay in Baltimore and give out cameras, because I didn't have a voice. I know how it feels to be feeling that way, but the camera gave me a platform to start, challenging things and addressing things and revealing things that I didn't think I had no say in. So I could talk about gentrification. I can talk about poverty. I can talk about violence. I can use the art form as a vehicle to start these conversations. But teaching them, I have been empowered them that I can talk about these things too. Where I'm 36 now, the street coach and the coach in Baltimore is different. I'm older. I'm not meant to tell every single story, and that's how I move as an artist. I can speak on what I understand, or I will lend my tool to voice someone else's pain, struggle, or their story. But I'm not a tool to tell every single story. So for the younger generation, I'd rather put a hammer in you. You tell your story. Now, let me give you the knowledge that I've learned and tell them my own and help you reveal those few. So, right after the time cover, a lot of people don't know that I started to go GoFundMe. So it's of this. I'm like, I got the time cover. I'm on the news. I had ABC, MSN, CNN, any outlet you can think to. I became the person on the town. Go talk to Devin Allen, where for the first time, I had a voice and I was helping control the narrative of what was happening on what we call the Baltimore Uprising. They called it riots. We called it an uprising. Because people only talked about the burning down of the yes, but you were doing prayer circles. You had all the community came together. The gangs came together with the Muslims, and they stopped the uprising. They calmed the preachers and the community leaders, the hairdressers, the barbers, like your aunts, your uncles. Everybody came together and said, "Hey, we got to stop destroying our community. Let's calm down. Let's reconvene." That's what happened. Not no house, not the government, not police, and that's what stopped it. But it was the community that came together. And I was there to document that to the point where people, even, the local organizers, like, only Devin, put your camera down, never here. And it became this thing where I was just like, a guy from the neighborhood with a camera to, like, he's the eye of Baltimore. Where's that? It's like, I still to this day get requests like, we protest and we need you here, and I'm honored that people trust me in that way, but that comes with time and building that trust. So now it's another generation where kids are growing up, learning about me. It's so weird. And I never thought like, I went to all high school at one point, I donated cameras to a library in this neighborhood and taught a workshop that the kids had. It told their own stories, and then we had an art show. And I started that in 2015, and I got a $20,000 grant from Michael Skolnick and Russell Simmons that allowed me to buy cameras and go back to Freddie Gray's neighborhood and teach the kids from that neighborhood. And I've been on it ever since. And now I go to school, kids in the grade, I'll be like, learn about you at middle school. You the reason why I played. So I can tell. So it's like, okay, it's working. So now, I look at it. One of my kids got a full ride to NYU. I got kids graduating from high school, kids in college, kids aspiring, to do what I did back then and find these stories and create these stories, and I'm like, wow. I was able to go through this traumatic moment, give back to my community, and now for the first time, I can really explore being a artist. And I don't have to be on the ground because I know, planted this for the next generation, take control of that narrative. Because I'm getting old. I can't keep running up and down the street protesting. I want to do everything. I have my own goals, but I've really seen the change in community, due to land, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful, process.
I think knowing that you've put that in place, but almost 10 years ago now. That's crazy. But that's something that we discussed prior to us starting the recording was the Life of Phys project and the things. It's very similar. And I look forward to bending your ear and getting some advice and having you become part of, my plan and to help the youth across North American indigenous communities learn that there is other ways. There's other things out there. There's ways to express yourself. But I'm grateful that you captured the way you did with the uprisings. because there's never two sides to a story when it comes to general news outlets. You know, they look for the negative, and that's what they want to portray because they want to preach that fear.
If it bleeds, at least that's like exactly what.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. In 2013, when you got when Grandma let you use that Best Buy to buy your camera, did you ever think that you would you'd be having a residency at Baldwin for the Arts?
Oh wow, just never. You know, like when I picked that camera and I go back, like, what would I say to my younger self? I don't know what I would say. Like, I still can't believe. You know, I think I'm talking about. I've lost a lot of friends, and I stopped counting about 20. Lost like 20 friends to gunfire. Lost a friend each year. I haven't gone a year without losing someone since I was like 16. So to be here, be supported by the city in this way, I still can't be today. Like when I wake up sometimes, I'd be like, I'm Devin Allen. I still can't believe. You know, when I wanted to fall and, you know, I've been working. My art is like I shoot every day. Like I literally go out, shoot every day. That's what I do. And then I build ideas around what I see. But I've recently in the last, I'm going to say like 3 years, I've been blessed in my career as always. It's people that see me and believe in me and give me opportunity. I never really thought I just did the work and kept my head down. You know, a lot of people look for opportunity. I never look. I just do the work. I'm a hard worker. I keep my head down. I make my heart. And then someone, I see what you did over there. I like it. Let me embrace you. And that's why I tell artists all the time, you need a village. You cannot work in a silo. I'm not where I'm at. It wasn't for my friends like D. Watson, friends like Darnell Moore, people like Lena Waithe believed in me, Paul Moakley from Tom. Like these are people that saw something in me and was like, I'm a point to you. You know, Swiss Beats gave me my first Leica M. You know, the first day I met Swiss Beats, when I won my fellowship, like this Leica is better. I was like, couldn't even afford it like that.
Dang.
And that was in 2017. So sometimes I different parts. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, so winning the Hallway fellowship, that was the first thing that I was for. You know, like I've applied for grant. I've never went with a grant in Baltimore City to do stuff in Baltimore City. But I've been, you know, Gordon College gave me a grant to teach. And it's when I won my fellowship, it came with grant money. And it was to teach inner city kids with autism and intellectual disability. Because that's what I was doing when I was doing photography. I worked overnight, taking care of these 3 young Black guys in their 20s, but they were on the spectrum. Very low, you know, on the spectrum. But I had so much love for them, you know, like I would make sure they would wake up in the morning, get on the bus, go to their program. I would work at 12 o'clock at night to 8 in the morning. And I took that job so I could shoot all day. So I had the opportunity. And when I became the first Gordon Parks Fellow, he gave me a grant. I want to teach the kids with autism. And I had a friend who I was working with. And I gave them cameras. It just was beautiful. So like, this is my first residency that I actually ever applied for. So I didn't think nothing of it. I just, you know, I'm going to apply for it. My friend, my peers was just like, got this, I'm going to get it. And I'm like, it's my game. Like, I don't like it. So to be a Gordon Parks Fellow who I aspire to be like, you know, I've met his daughter last week. I've met Gordon Parks III. I've met his friend, his peers that also, you know, show me like Edgar Cohen. I've met Yabu Bay and a lot of these other photographers that's in the same spectrum. And, you know, it's a blessing. So Ace Baldwin, who another artist that I've read a lot of his stuff, watched his interviews, and is, you know, an icon to be able to be a resident fellowship of that. It's just, I still can't, I've been celebrating since. I need to chill and get back to work.
Well, and you posted that you got the residency, and man, I was cheering for you. I hear that you've lost friends over, pretty much every year of your life since you were 16. It must be just so crazy to live and have that happen. Well, you gained a friend today with me.
I appreciate it.
I look forward to learning from you and growing and getting that wisdom that will help me make my plan for the Life of Phys project successful. But the way you capture people, you have this you don't stage them. They're very much natural, whether they're sad or in pain or happy or just normal everyday things that tells a story, your images tell a story of that area. Which I mean, comes with time and practice. And, I was going to ask about the Gordon Parks Fellowship, but you beat me to it. That must have been mind blowing for you, being that he was somebody that inspired you and drove you to continue to capture the way you wanted to. And then you get a fellowship from that program. Like that gives me goosebumps right now talking about it with you. And then doing good with that fellowship to help continue the growth of photography, so, you've moved through some different aspects of photography. I know you do some behind the scenes work.
Yeah.
We are both, Hobo Light photographers. So we both have that, Karan Karnani. Thank you so much.
Go.
Yes, very much so. The light, I always call her the light in a world that's never bright. She's always there, with her wisdom. It's incredible. So how has the transition been? So I know you started out doing a lot of these uprising photos, capturing real life moments, but then you post up that you're working behind the scenes on the Chai. Like, it's one of the greatest shows on TV currently. How did that come about?
Yeah. So this is something that I understood very, very quickly. My work. So if I never got a time cover or if I never had the time, I still will be doing the work. Like I got a time cover. When they called me, he was like, "Who do you work for? Like, can we hire you?" I'm like, just shooting. I'm from the community. Like, they thought I was like this go-see-the photographer when they reached out to me. Plot twist. I just got curious. So like this work is a passion, and I don't think you can really put a price on it. A lot, I document my community. So like you're talking about these are some guys I used to like hustle with back in the day or party with. So I have that community aspect already because I was outside, I was in the streets, so I have a lot of respect already. So like, but it was basically the document was going around me, and I just expanded it. It was always passion. I'm doing it with money or no money, and that's what I understood. But also, when I started in Uprising, and I started understanding the power of the part and controlling my narrative, I have to continue to control it. So even with like time or a lot of my work is published, I'm already shooting. I haven't really, like, it's rare that I'm freelance in my career. Usually what happens to me is I'm documenting all these things, and a lot of like these publications will reach out and be like, you have something in the story or this narrative. That's how I always work. Since the time cover, and that's how I got both my time cover. Already doing work because I'm passionate about it. I care. This is my activism. I'm talking to story in my career, and then people find the work later. So I knew that, and I've seen what money can do to people who want to meet you. I've seen it amongst peers and things like that. It can be a very ugly game. I want to control the narrative of who I am, what I want to say. So what I had to do was I had to understand that my art is separate. How I make money is different. So when I'm a slow worker. I watch a lot of my friends. They met the demise by chasing fast money. That's drug culture. That's hustle. I have friends who were making, you talking about 18-year-old making like $5,000-$10,000 a week, hustling, selling drugs. You talking about millionaires, I've seen it, but they died, they burned out fast. So I always had to think about a slow grind, you know. So what I wanted to do with this viral moment, which I always remember this quote, and Andy Warhol said that everybody in the future will be famous for 15 minutes. He said that like in the 80s or something. I don't really, maybe the 70s. But he said that, and it's true. And I knew this was a moment, but it's not a moment for me. This is my life. And I'm so imbued into the art. So when you see my work, it's very, very close to here. Because it's who I am and who I live. I had to separate those things. This is my passion. It's going to bring money, not gas money. But I had a tool, a camera, and I had these ideas in my head. I need to. So when Under Armour was out, they bought me my passport. I never left the country before. They sent me to Asia with Steph Curry. And that was my first freelance job.
Working with the
And I went to Tokyo, Beijing, Shanghai, Manila, with Steph. And, that was by way of Steve Batista, Orwell, who, like Thomas Hurd and blah, blah, who they found me like on Twitter and tweeted me. Like, you need to come out now. And that just, my mom did my emails and my uncle was my manager. Because everything happened so fast. Going from just like an amateur photographer with 2 years to time cover brings a lot. Like working with Instagram and ended up on Oprah, and like my head was just like, it was so much. Family business. Let's transform the roll out. Let's go. And I understood I'm a student of the craft. And I went to and I was like, at the time I'm giving out cameras, I'm teaching. I said, I want to, and they was like, I know you're blowing up. Like you can do this. Everybody's like, move to LA. But you're there. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm very slow. I want to learn. I want to learn the business side of it, learn these things. And it was like, all right, well, be in a hiring freeze. I'll talk to you later about it. And I was like, and then I just remember a year later, came back and was like, you still want a job? And I was like, yes, I'm an artist. I need benefits. I have a child. I want stability. But I also, the main reason was I don't want the work that I'm so passionate about and what I want to be the voice of our community and do those things. I don't want it to be co-opted. I don't want people to tell me what to shoot, how to shoot my personal work. So, Under Armour is all right, well, come on in. So I've been Under Armour 8 years. So for 8 years, I've learned and wore many different hats. And a lot of people don't know that because my page is all personal. And sometimes you see a picture of Steph Curry, or I post a campaign picture and things like that. But being an Under Armour is like college for me. So, I've been able to wear the creative director hat, learn about creative direction, learn about art direction, learn about what a producer does, learn about what a project manager does. So I've been a student of that, of just the business of photography and how these things work, marketing, all these different things. And I've learned less enough. I've been at Under Armour 8 years now, still working out in Under Armour, been able to work on a lot of big campaigns. I've been able to, design my own shoe. Like I think somebody was like, the first photographer with a shoe deal. I was like, I might be, I don't know.
But if you some of those,
yeah,
I got to give myself some Under Armour Devin Allens.
Hopefully we bring them back. Them joints sold out. We didn't make it out. We had t-shirts with the photography on it. And the beautiful thing about that Under Armour, they agreed to donate money to Keisha NCD photography. We donated a bunch of money to programming for this nonprofit called Waggle Youth Media that teaches kids photography, visual, 3D animation, and the slew. But then also, I wish I could have got them like this. Then we didn't make that much, but it's good. But we bought them 30 brand new E5i Canon cameras, 30 of them from Canon and donated them from the college. So instead of like, I don't want the money to get back to the photography. So that's what we were able to do. But that's what I learned, how to make that transition. And a lot of people, I don't talk much about my corporate side, but, from there, I've been able to, work, and freelance other things too. I just can't work with competitors of the brand. So I'm a diehard over there. So when the shot came about, Lena Waite, I think that happened, who's the producer, amazing director, icon. They reached out to me for like a Saturday. I was chilling. I was being lazy. It was like laying in my mother's basement. I think I was watching Lord of the Rings. So like something that I always, I'm like binge watching all the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits. And I get a call from my manager. And it was like, Paramount is in Showtime. Like, what? We're doing? Like, then we had like a meeting like that same day on a Saturday. Like, will you be in Chicago? Like, I was like, kid. And Lena Waite made that happen. Lena Waite said she was a fan of my work. And just was like, bring to the shop season. And every season, what I love is like they look at all the key art. Every season with different artists interpret their picture. And that's Lena. So she fell in love with my work. We have like a friend, Donna, who's like a big brother to me. And then this is like one of the biggest shit that I've ever done, going to a community that I'm not from. I knew a little bit about Chicago, but I really needed to bring what I bring to Baltimore to the shop, and working with Paramount, Showtime, a lot of different mechanisms and making everybody happy. It was probably one of the biggest checks that I ran personally. It was a really big deal for me.
Well, like I was telling you, you introduced me to that show, and I watched that show and I was instantly hooked.
Yeah, it's a good.
I went back and binge watched every season.
Yeah,
I just instantly connected. My whole life, it's been like that. I've always connected with New York City. Growing up watching Beat Street. In my little town outside of Portland, Oregon. Farm town. I'm watching Beat Street. Yo MTV Raps. Got so hooked on anything graffiti. It was just, and still to this day, I go to all the local graffiti spots. I'm always capturing graffiti. It's something about it. I love it. It connects and hits me in a certain way. And it's weird. It's like I'm connected to urban culture. And it's not that I had to live it, because I was very fortunate and I grew up middle class in a very safe part of the country. But there's something about the love of family, the love of community. If you're willing to read between the lines of all the stuff you hear about how bad areas are and how dangerous areas are, there's always that connection of beauty.
Yeah. I grew up, like a lot of people, Baltimore struggles, but like I grew up. My mom, hardworking woman, raised me really, really well. When people come to Baltimore and places like it, and that's the thing. When I went to the shot, it was like he shot that in the hood. Like I really was walking up and knocking on people's doors, and they was like, "Oh, we love the shot, yo. You can shoot him out." I'm like walking through people's houses, using their backyards and using their blocks, and it was one of those things that we all connect, because we had like similarities in the line. So like when I go to Oakland with staff, I love tapping in with photographers, and that's one thing that I don't do. Like, I don't pull up in other communities and just start taking pictures. So I'm a street photographer by heart, by nature. I will take pictures, but I'm not trying to tell the story or trying to depict. I'm just like, this is what I saw. But when I'm in Baltimore, I'm building ideas and building structure, that's inspiration. But when I go to another person's city, I always try to tap in with like, local photographer. Like, I don't know if you follow people like Rough Joy.
Yeah. I want him on.
So, I was working with Visco, my friend Adrian, who used to work at Visco, amazing photographer, originally from I can't remember. I don't think he's from Ferguson, but he's from like that area. Was in Oakland, working at Visco. He brought me in to do a talk at Visco, and then brought me back like a mentorship. And drag, he like, yo, you in Oakland? And I hit him up. I was like, yo, I'm working with Visco. Me and Adrian, we out shooting. We about to go to happy hour. So it was like a bunch of photographers that Visco had brought in. I brought him. And that's how I met Ruckroll. And then eventually, I converted him to Leica. That or just talking. Like I hooked them up with her, and I was like, he's like, oh, I'm interested in Leica, and I was come to the dump. But like, and I would go to Oakland, I would link up with photographers in the community, and the people, or like people like, yo, why don't go to and shoot all this stuff? And like, but you got Dita Ware on DC, you have, Tom Mobley and DC. They're from DC. I love connecting with people in their community, and that's what I interview in my work. I know Baltimore like the back of my hand. It's few people that, if you're going to shoot in Baltimore, you're probably not going to host because you don't have the connection that I had because I'm from here. I can go to East, there's a lot of people, like I've had photographers come here like, yo, somebody took my camera. I'm like, why was you down there? I didn't even go. What are you doing down there? That's your fault. I can't give your camera back. I'm not like the camera dog of Baltimore. Like, hey, get your camera back. But it's always, that's why it's important if, as photographers, respect people's community, and that's how I roll. You look at people like Gordon Clarks, Jamel Shabazz, Dabble Bing, Latoya Ruby, Kerry Maine, Ming Smith, Anthony Barbosa. These photographers are people. They know how to interact with people and get them to take down their defense. That's what I think a lot of photographers in this day and age lack. And that's what you see in my work, that I'm able to, wherever I go, I'm a people's person. I learn how to communicate. I know when a person don't want to take a picture. I know these things. I feel the energy. It allows you to let people in. You look at Latoya Fraser's documentation of Flint, Michigan. That is a great study how she was documenting Flint, Michigan, met this and documented as well as migration from Flint, Michigan back to her dad's farmland. I believe it was in Mississippi. And people like Anthony Barbosa, I had a conversation with him, one of the number of photographers, probably shot majority of every magazine and Jet magazine. He tells about, man, he said to me, man, I hate photographers, man. Photographers are school damn self. He always wants you to beat something, but what about what the subject was? And that's what a lot of people like to understand, that there's a collaboration. That's why I think it's, picking the camera up is one thing, that's the first step, but also studying the methods and the mantras of all these other great photographers will make a better photographer. And I study all of them and I implement it in my work. And that's what I had to do working with the staff. Now I have to deal with community members and people being in that community. Because you got to think about, when I'm shooting PR, I'm shutting your block down. I'm messing up traffic. You can't park in front of your house. I'm just coming in real hot at but then I have to deal with the stars. I have to direct, and I have makeup. I have Paramount Clear Direct. I have all these things and elements that I have to deal with. But I learned all of them from getting a street photographer and interacting with people every day. And that's what I think sets my work apart from a lot of other, photographers. Like, picture is one thing, but you able to understand that this is a people sport, and I learned that I've been mentored by the great. And once again, I said, it takes a village. Gordon Parks once, another major photographer who was like my mentor, Robert Houston, who's most of the documentation of the Poorest People campaign in DC, who's also in East Baltimore. And I remember he was doing a podcast. He took a liking to, he said, "You a bad young brother." He was like, "Man, you love Parks as much as I do, but I met Gordon. That's when he mentored me." And I was like, "What? Real? Tell me all about it." And he said, when I was in college, I didn't believe it was art. And he was like, man, I don't go be a photographer. He said, I left college. And I remember going to the Life building. The Life was there. And try to get a lead going parks. I had my portfolio, and he was like, this is back, you had to really put your photos up and carry the portfolio. You had to really advertise net and social media. And he said, I snuck into Gordon Parks' office. I told his secretary, but I had a beat. He was like, I didn't need. And I threw my portfolio on his back. And he gave me a meet. And he was flipping through his photography. And he said, that you don't got a lot of pictures of people in your portfolio. He's like, what you don't like people? And Robert Houston said, I can take them or leave them. And Gordon said, well, you want to be in it, it's better take it. And Gordon said that to Robert Houston, and Robert Houston told me that story is something that I took with me to understand that every time I'm shooting a person, this is a dance. This is a collaboration between me and how this person wants to be seen. So a lot of times when people see my images, when you comment, like, thank you for the image of my person. I love how you shot the sun, because you have to be selfless on some of this. We want the shot, but you have to understand when you're doing portraiture or you're capturing something, sometimes you got to think about your subject and how they want to be seen to the rest of the world, because you are that conduit, and that you're giving voice and you're giving a visual the rest of the world, and you're projecting this person's story to the rest of the world. So I try to move in a sense of selflessness when I'm documenting.
Your story, that's amazing. You had that connection with Robert Houston, and his connection to Gordon Parks, your connection to Gordon Parks, like such a surreal circle.
Yeah.
So like in the things you've gotten from taking that hustle mentality that you had growing up, trying to survive and living the life that you chose to take a different path, that has continued to help you grow and expand your career. I mean, that's to be commended, Devin.
No, thank you.
I know we're getting a little long here, but there's so much I could ask you. Like, I just so many questions. I'd love it if you had time, if you could fire me a DM with some photographers that inspire you.
I can tell you right now, that's easy.
Yeah. Throw them out, and then I would just love to look into their work.
Talk about photography all day, but like when I think about photographers, right? The photography is one aspect. It's who they are and being also really, really, I really want this, because we look at the photograph, but the person behind that camera and what they believe in their heart, inspiration is very, very important, is which set me apart. And what really kind of early in my career, when I was documenting that, that moment, a lot of people wish they was in that moment. In that moment, I got the time cover. I wish I was not in that moment. I don't want to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to document things, but this is my reality, So think about photography. I think about what you're trying to say beyond just how good the photographer is. Because anybody can pick a photo. It's not like you're a rocket scientist. So like once you learn mechanics, of a camera, you can get a clear picture. Aaron, the camera doesn't supposed to work for you anyway. So I think I always look at who the person is. So about my contemporaries and about people that I look, like when I'm studying, I always Gordon, Edgar Cole, Corey Day Carrera. And I'm a Baltimore XP, and I'm horrible when I be butchering people's names. Ming Smith, not gonna give you reasons why I like all the, Ming Smith, Curry May Wings, Latoya Ruth Frazier, Jamel Shabazz, Dabu, Anthony Barbosa, I could keep on, and these are like I study. Like I have their books. I watch their ending movies, and I watch, or again, Raina Cop, Deborah Willis, Hank Willis Thomas. Uh, these are people that I like what you did there. Give me them. You know, like, I look to them they're like my moral compasses or whatever, you know. And when I think about my peers, the people that I feel like I'm in the game with, or I respect their work, you know, I think about people like my friend Adrian, photo director Audrey Wagner. I think about Yakuru. You know, I like the way he's a producer. I think about Tony Mobley down in DC, Peter Wed down in DC. I think it's so many, you know, that I study, and I'm just lucky. I feel like it's so many great photographers. You know, I brought up like you know, people like that. You know, I've been able to, you know, I have rough jobs and stuff like that for like opportunity. And I think he's amazing. It's so many, and the state of photography is beautiful right now, but it's so accessible. One of the most accessible things, art form, that I love it. I just urge all photographers to understand that a lot of times in this business, it's very different to be a pit against each other a lot. You know, I've been in rooms where I think being an Under Armour, being corporate, but still being an artist, is I had that journey where I had comfortability in this stableness to really explore my art. Where I think a lot of times photographers don't get that chance. You know, I think with like Joshua 50, who is just phenomenal, mind-blowing work that I think he's setting open world like in fire right now. You haven't seen his work. Shot for like Fear God, you know, shot some of the greats, become an amazing director, is an amazing director, you know, a friend of mine, and I look up to. I've watched him from, you know, a long time. Think about people like Stevie, Street Dream, up in New York, does phenomenal work. Anthony Burgess, I'm probably messing his name up further. Anthony Burgess, you know, another guy from Brooklyn, New York. She's like on amazing documentary work. You know, I think about. I'm trying to think who else. There's so many. I hate because it's like there's so much good work that it's hard to like to talk about it randomly. Yeah. You know, I could send you a DM, I send you even more. But I think it's important that we study, you know, what came before us, because it set the tone. You know, I think about people like, you know, Dina Lawson. If you haven't seen the work, please check her out. She's an icon to me. You know, I think about Dana Shrug. I think she's like the first Black woman to cover a Rolling Stone. It's like incredible, phenomenal. These are people that's around. You know, you think about Tyler Mitchell. I think he's the first black man to cover Vogue. Like, these are people that are alive and making work, and I study all of them. My peers, I see them as, you know, my peers, and some people die, how icons and stuff, phenomenal work. But what I love about some of these people, and a lot of people that I named, that's when, you know, the Toy Ruby Frick and Jamal Shabazz, and the Rock that will big head and Kevin Williams, these long journeys of photography, and they're always learning, evolving, you know, tag subject ideas. And I urge photographers, he says, I talk to photographers all the time, they look at me like, how did you get it? How did you get it? I'm still learning. I'm still evolving. If you look behind me, these are my paintings that I've worked with. I work with other mediums, and I'm always exploring, storing ideas, and manipulating things, and playing with all different types of things. So I urge photographers, look out to the world, but then come back and apply what's in your heart. That will set it apart. That will get you seen. You know, in a world where, you know, people are so worried about AI. You can't AI my life experience. Every story is important. So like you talked about, your story, what you're trying to do. Every story is important. And I think a lot of times people don't see the importance of documenting what's around them. If you look at some of the great and you dig deep, you will see that a lot of them started with that telling stories and things that were so close to them. And then they expanded and they love it.
Exactly.
So I urge that with others to look out, look what came forward, and also turn internally and understand what you learn. Who are you? Because your brain and your eyes, only you have your eyes. No one else is the same. You can replicate the image. You can take images like, but only you can speak your truth. You got in what I think sets apart some of the how we look at the Greeks and their work that becomes iconic, and with sometimes it's the replication of a lot of those things. I am not what are carbon copy of all those likely people that I name, and take what I love from it, and then I implement it here, and then I regurgitate it to the rest of the world through my eyes.
That's an amazing way to explain it. So much, but that's so much wisdom. I mean, we have to learn from the greats. You hear so much about, oh, well, everybody can be a photographer. The camera does all the work, or you can't capture that with that old camera. They've proved us wrong many, many times that the camera is just a part of it. It's a tool. Exactly. Some of the people who I find inspiration in the last little bit is Michael C. from from Queens. He goes by Views from the Trap. He captures real life in Queens, like amazing. Kid Noble in Washington, D.C.
That's the whole. Yeah. He just came to Leica too.
Sir.
That's my guy.
Yeah, Reginald is.
Yeah.
He inspires me every day. I love Reggie. And then there's Ricky Shubio. He goes by Space Camp Fresh. What he's doing to create jobs in the communities and uplift people around him, absolutely amazing. Josh A. Katz out of L.A. Dude's got a story, but he shot with Killer Mike, Dr. Dre.
I'm going to check him.
He just did an ad campaign with Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg for Bic.
Oh, I think I seen.
Heck yeah, dude. He is coolest dude in the world. So talented. But I learned so much from everyone. And I'm like you, I have hundreds and hundreds of photo books from fashion photographers to, street to landscape to just every genre of it, because there's something I can pull from every part of it.
Yeah.
So we just touched on some wisdom from Devin Allen, which is incredible. Last thing we'll touch on here is how your creativity and your photography is connected to your mental health. So what I mean by that is, for me, FICE, in my titles actually stands for Photography Heals Your Soul. So I was at the lowest part of my life when I found the camera, and I credit the camera as being my therapy. And it brought me back to being in a position where I realized that I have a voice and I can create a platform and I can create a space for people to be willing to talk and share a story. So my camera is very, very much an extension of who I am as an individual and how I create and clear my mind when I'm having troubling days. What is your connection between your creativity, your outlet, and mental health?
Yeah, I touched on it earlier. Well, like my friends were ill while I was all, so adamant about pictures. So the air that changed my life. And meditation, a lot of time with a camera is in the moment, it allows me to focus on what's right in front of me. Nothing else matters. And it's me and it's my camera. A lot of people are like, I want to come out with shooting and I do I don't know. Because it's a form of meditation for me, so I like to shoot alone. A lot of times I find myself just roaming my city, trying to understand things and understanding change, document moments that just so therapeutic to me. It allowed me to focus on one thing, puts me in one place. Post that, allows me to reflect on like moments, where and how we grow up a lot of us here, we don't plan to live long. You know, we used to got like, a lot of people like, how many people lost? Like, it's so normal. You know, I really have emotions until I got a little bit, you know, Gordon actually gave me emotion. I feel like she made me soft, you know, and I became an artist. I got softer. You know, I used to be like, don't try, don't care. Like, my homies got killed, we're gonna walk. You know, like, or do I pursue this route? You know, and photography allowed you like reflect on those moments. So like, unfortunately, a lot of my portraiture, like of my peers, they get up on obituary. I get a lot of like DMs or texts. Yo, so got killed. Or, did you keep this picture of my son? And I get that. You know, we want to use it for the, or you know, and stuff like that. You know, but it brings me joy that family have those. I was able to capture them in essence. But also, I kept those moments that I spent, you know, on the block, hanging out with my friends, like that. Photography gave me power over my own narrative. It gave me a platform. So now a lot of the issues that I internalize, I can speak out about. You know, dealing with a person. I have PTSD from the Baltimore Uprising, which a lot of people, you know, I was suicidal. Tried to kill myself at the time coming. Tried to slip my fist. And it was so crazy. My mom had to call the police on me. So imagine being a black mother, having to call mom, because, you know, when you suicidal, you got on the one, you got to call, you know. I remember, you know, just going through the uprising, I was getting harassed, I believe, you know, because when Baltimore's so small, it's like, you know, when you protest, like, if you protest, like, in, I'm going to say, like, a New York City, so big, you know, when I was protesting, hey, police officers follow me home. You know, I was removed from my car one time, and they made me walk. I got hit with shores and stuff. So, you know, like, it felt like I was like in history books that I used to read about, and wasn't meant to get credit for that. So I was suicidal. I tried to kill myself. I slit my wrist. You know, and my family they got through. You know, and I kept pushing through that. It kept me kept being like vehicle to talk about those. So a lot of times when I do podcasts and stuff, people are like, you want to talk about that? Are you okay about that? Like, yes, that's my superpower. Photography is bigger, but I speak out about things because it's a real thing. And I found that out when I was dealing with my mental illness, my PTSD, because we would never talk. Things was like, oh, that's depression, that's anxiety, that's PTSD. Like, oh, my dad is bipolar. That's why, you know, like all these different things that you find. I found out my Jones is about the uprising, but it empowered them and make art about it. And for you know, when I can't speak out about something, I would forget I can create something. I can document that story, and that's what I teach the youth. When I go in and you know, some of my students got shot. One of my students got shot. You know, I've had one of my students house was raided. I got my camera though. It was like they're living, you know, like I work with dealing with more things than I'm dealing with. But I try to teach them that like you might not be able to talk about it if you don't feel comfortable talking about it, but obviously you can document it. That allows you to use the camera to express your feelings. You know, and that's what it is. There's another way to get a thing that affects racism, poverty, and brutality. And I try to urge my kids to aim for a lot of times at each. I don't really come in like aperture, ISO. That stuff is cool. That's something you can learn later. You know, and what I do is we go and take pictures, and then they get frustrated when we can't capture what they want. When the ISO to them now. What's that? And I sneak in ISO. But why my picture blur? Oh, you shutter speed too low. You might want to shut up. What's that? I sneak in a little here and there. The biggest thing is like, what story do you know? One kid was like, and I hate school lunch. School lunch is horrible. It's not healthy.
Document it.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So how you were just saying that, the teacher at the fine art school, her name is Jen Eccles. If you could say hi to Jen, because she'll be listening.
Hey, Jen.
She's very similar to that style. She lets the kids explore and then peppers it with the knowledge, and then they learn from it. And Jen has become a very close friend of mine. Hobolite in Quran allowed me to gift them a full pro setup.
Can we just give a round of applause for her?
Oh,
yo, because
yeah,
one thing Aaron has done, build community. Like I said, like she's reached out and reached out to me in 2020. You know, and I've been with them ever since. But they have allowed me, you know, interview some of my favorite photographers, like Photo Drag. You know, when like Rough Draft, I was able to connect her and connect with other photographers. Another thing, she is at Hobolite. I never really, but I use them now. You know, and wherever she goes, it breeds community. I just want to say, you know, a lot of times we bigger brands and people that work at these brands, they're going for being influencer, with all these followers and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I do got a lot of followers too. I got like 100-something and a little bullshit boot chat. But the fact that she was able to support me and also a lot of my peers, and I just love it. We need more people that were friends to understand that when she was at Leica is a camera storytelling, and then the power, you know, now that's like she understands the power of like you need to get it, not in just people that can afford it or the people that are the followers and get all the free, also just the on the ground creators and people going to work. So I commend her for the community that actually know, and I commend you for, you know, license to the table. You know, like I said, we don't even photography is a new concept in Baltimore where when I talk to my peers, like other photographers, I took the film when I was in middle school, high school, never been off us here, and I've seen the change, and I commend her for building it and you for that. I love that.
Thank you, sir. I mean, I randomly saw a picture from Taki of him and holding the light, and I was like, I thought it was his photo. I said, "Hey, Taki, great photo, lit by the best lights in the industry," just jokingly. And then, I'd love to work with you sometime. And all of a sudden, I had a message from her, and she said, "Hey, I listened to an episode. I love your message. What can we do for you? Do you want to try some lights?" And I was like, I don't really like to try the light thing. I want to build a partnership. And then she was like, "Cool, what do you need?" So she fired me a Pro. She fired me an Avant, the Iris. I just got.
I need to get that. How you like the Iris? I need to get that.
Yes, I that's what's lighting me right now. That's right.
The Iris?
The Iris.
Oh yeah. We text her. Well, and that's, I think that's something we can touch on. Brand partnership, you know, is very essential for creatives and artists and different things. Make sure I don't know if everybody like who watching this sees this. Like I've worked with a lot of, and I remember like this is information. I speak all this stuff. I remember after getting the cover, and I remember when I was working with Instagram, and they took this amazing class called Look Great, where they wanted to show my work on this. They showed my work on this huge Scantron, but it was like spring break. I met Ruddy Roy, who's one of my favorites, not familiar. I met some Sports Illustrated. I met Larry Fink, who played his harmonica. I was just like a young photographer. I was on my dream, like real vacation. I met so many photographers that I still follow to this day. And I was like the baby at a camp. I need, you know, and I had my Fuji ex client who was beat up and it actually was broke over the police broke. And I remember Instagram and the photographer, they picked me up from my house and drove me to Virginia to go to this press. And they was like, "You need to go talk to Fuji. You're the biggest Fuji shop right now. You're the third amateur photographer with the cover Time magazine. It's your sponsor." And I remember going to their rap. They just only my work. And he was like, I was like, yeah, 5, Allen, I read my working in here with Instagram, we reach out, they say, you do sponsorship, I would love to get back and build. And they said, we can work with some media, but your work really doesn't plan kind of negative. So I'm just like, ruin my whole trip. I'm all sad, right? I went from like the day before doing whiskey shots and partying, and I'm walking around all set. And I was hanging out with Shing. I'm gonna mess his name up. Shing Fu. He had this beautiful like M9. It was all beat up. It was like, when it started, crash started to show. He had it for a long time. So briefly, he was like, play with it. He had like an M9 on it. And I was playing stuff like that. And I remember talking. They're like, "What's wrong? Your energy was like down onto the bar." Y'all told me I should go to Fuji, and I did. And they said that. And then, talking to some of the other photographers, and then one photographer is just like, yeah, me tough for you. You're a young photographer. Came out, I know, you're in Baltimore. You don't have no performance. You don't have this, that, third. It's going to be tough, but, push through it. What do you want to do? And this, I'll never forget it. Reddy's word was like, you need to speak out about it. And I sat on it for a while, and then I was like super about it because I'm shooting with this Fuji. I don't even want to shoot with this shit. My work negative. And I just remember taking the equipment to a local gas store that had been first for the service photo wing I went for in Baltimore. So shout out to service photo. They've been supporting early in my career. I would just go through all their equipment and a lot of my photography to them. There's a focal point. I traded in all my got rid of it. I didn't want to shoot. And I remember just telling the story, just like telling you, and then eventually reached them and tried to apologize. They try to send me or whatever. And I just was at that point, I'm never working with that's a lot of this, and then eventually I think for as photographer with the artists that we think highly of ourselves and understand that they need help keep ourselves brought up. They take off of how good our network. Just make sure you allow people by brand support your work as more confidence. Every brand is not perfect, but allow with the right brand that aligns with your work. It do you justice in the long run.
That's such great advice. There's so many people who want to chase that quick money, that quick sponsor. I've turned down a couple big financial paydays because they didn't align with who I am.
Exactly.
Hobolite, I will do anything for Hobolite.
Yeah.
So I love that's the IRS right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna text her. Hey, I need that.
They make it in the midnight colorway, the black colorway, so the black leather now. Yeah, so I just got the what did I get here? Last week I got the new Mini Max and the new Avant Max. So the Avant Max looks like the Hasselblad, the 500, so it matches my film camera. So we're perfect.
Support brand, support the brand support. You show brand support. Then being there, I've been able to I was able to hire a brand for an event. I've been able to hire some more of my for events like that. I've been able to hire kids and to assist them like that. I think it's important that when we get these platforms, we get these brands that you accept those partnerships. Being at and working with that, and I've been able to I did a book sign and Boston. I interviewed a photographer. Love the DC still. I've been able to interview other photographers that I like. And I'm really big on my platform, like out of other people's work that I think should be seen the rest of the world. I always commit, also for getting me getting me, like that platform. And then also I awarded a lot of shooters too. So shout out to all my like that shooters. I get so many DMs like, I just got my light on. I just got my light on. So like, it's nothing like it's. I think it's the fact that if you shoot film or you shoot digital, it's so compact and so, and then the message doesn't.
I just sold all my Fuji gear to start this 1-year project with the Ricoh.
The Ricoh,
yeah, so
Ricoh.
I have
this is like my backup. My favorite camera is like my Leica M6 monochrome. Like this is like, you see this like and that's my everyday camera. Again, like when I'm chilling, like, but today I have to put down. That's when I with my Ricoh, because sometimes any with it, Ricoh is so small and discreet. Can't see it.
Yeah.
But like when I shot Shy, that was all like a S2.
Nice.
But like an M10 monochrome is like my baby. I won't let it go. But my dream is, I refuse to touch the film again until I can actually get my own darkroom. I want my own dark, but my dream is to get an M6.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will be transitioning to Leica at some point. That is the goal. I love the community they build. That's the important thing.
Yeah, it's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time too, it's like, I had some people come and like it and be like, it's like, bro, like you picked up Amazon money. But also just like, it's a tool, works with Rick. Like I think that I used to be a theater aide when I first started, and that got in the way of my heart. Having too much equipment when I'm shooting. And when I'm shooting, you can miss switching lenses. I'll always I'm a one lens guy. Well, I would do 2 cameras to have a like me on a regular day is me in a 28 millimeter because of the way that. And then I'll bring a 35 camera I have set in my bag. But like, do not get influenced too much, because it will get creativity.
Yeah.
It will. What it does is I find that it dilutes the art sometimes when you so learn about shooting with this and that. It will work. That's why I tell people about, I want to get a Leica like that, and make sure it works. Make sure it works. Like Amazon work. Like for instance, Sony Alphas, I don't like the setup. It's too funky for me.
Yeah.
I'm very, very cool. I don't like wanting to make you. I don't like all that. Going to like in the Sony, I got to go to like pig format my car. Like go. So so like I love simplicity. That's just me. Like that's why like I want to get into the video, like not so much video, but direct. I've been studying, or I've been able to intern on Lady in the Lake. I got to like be on set, director, also be on the city. If you haven't seen it, that I worked on the end, and I got to like go on set, and I actually have like a scene you can run across. That's this we live in pro, but like simplicity, minimalism is like it's easy for me, and that's what I learned. It took me years to learn. I started off with like I think I had like a Nikon that I had for like not even a couple that I sold because I wanted to display box. So I got like a 60D. Then I got rid of that real fast and I went to like a Mark II 5D. And then I was trying to shoot like a Mark II and a 70. But then I tossed that. I'm like, I could never find a perfect tool. And I had the Fuji XE2 and upgraded to X1. And then like I like the Sony mechanism, but it's just too much for me. Then I went to like Devin and stuff, and then eventually I Shin played with his M9, and I was like a monochrome, not a lot of buttons, kind of love with the weight. And I'm real hard on camera too. I will beat a camera, because I'm climbing poles. I'm in I love the body on like eventually I never could afford one. And eventually I saved up, got a deluxe. And then gave that away for praise who was so I had his stuff. But he was from gave it to him. Eventually I got my M8 USB with my first pen, and I've been shooting M ever since.
Amazing. That's awesome. I've seen there's a book called Baltimore coming out.
Yeah.
How does your homie in Canada get an autographed copy from his friend Devin Allen?
I got you. That's nothing. I have my team. I actually don't have no release. That's a crazy one. I don't even know. So I didn't even want to do it. Didn't want to do it. I fought it all the time. So Gordon Park is they started book. So Latoya Frazier got the book prize and Janelle Sapaz got it. And if anybody knows title, it's like the photographer book bags. I'm a photographer. And he wanted to do a book with me. So when the McCall Foundation, Peter Carr, who I love, the book, and McCall was like, Title wants to do a book with you. And I'm like, I'm not ready. I just had a beautiful Ghetto, which I was nominated for the NAACP Awards. And I just had finished up for Peace, which I worked on the foundation with also. They allowed me to, work also archive in the book. I'm like, that's 2 books already. I didn't want to do a beautiful Ghetto. Like, I didn't want to do books. I don't know how to do books. First book was because Candy Matter from Princeton loved my show. Ghetto was like, you need to do a book. And Hachette gave me the book. I just did it. I didn't do a book. I didn't know anything about it. No, Justice O.T. became a product as my friend D. Watkins, publisher, went to a book. I didn't even want that book. It just happened, because of friends. That's why I take the book. So when Baltimore happened, I told them give me 5 years because I wanted to build a body of work that resembled the impact work of Gore. So I have like a chip on my shoulder where I was told, for my first time, I was attacked by a lot of journalists. A lot of people don't know this. I was getting horrible in like season journalists. I don't remember anything, for the most part, but I was getting the emails from a lot of well-known photographers, Magna, people that shot, like well-known journalists. They were telling me that my real journalist and my work wasn't that good. I saw comments that people were saying that it was a lucky shot. I'm not that good. I'm one-dimensional and all these things. And these are people in the industry. That's another thing that I kind of like through my own ministry. I just kind of never pressed the street for like, a lot of places. Like freelance here and there, but I never promoted myself as a photographer, in that community. And so I always had to show the proof wrong. I was also told that I couldn't Baltimore, I need to move to New York to be this big photographer that I wanted to be. So I always had to check my shoulder. So I like to deeply think I can't do. Like when I got my second time cover, I DM'd it to a lot of photographers that I remember. Like, what was that set? His second, unfortunately. So when Paul came and had, I want to do every criteria of photography is just one of my first goals, show how well-rounded I am. So, started off as street photographer. I'm not known for my portraiture. A lot of things that I was told that I can do, sports photography, I've done it at billboards. I've documented some of the, Steph Curry, be, I've done things for Under Armour. That's of a chip that I can knock off. I can checklist on, but I want to do action photography. I want to get into that route. I want to get more into my landscape. I want to do every action photography to explore it all. I asked for that time. They just was like, Spider wants to do it. Come to say, all right, I'm not gonna on it. I don't know. What else? I don't know.
Yeah.
So the book came about McCall and Peter came to Baltimore on my word. From the time that I started to I finished. And, well, not finished, but up until that point. So the book also was just basically looking at, my growth as an artist in Baltimore, the years of work. So it's kind of like an early retro. So it's exactly this fall. I don't have an exact date yet, but I'm super excited. My first book, it wasn't, none of my books are about me. The book is more about me. With Beautiful Ghetto, I love Letter. So giving all the work back to Baltimore, expressing our love for it and showing what we went through, show the honesty of it, with no peace, which ain't, the book was already, was with the call to action post George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. This is America. This is how Black people are treated. I wanted to show the word, the inspiration behind the word, but also looking at the past and the present, collaborating with Asian writers. But this book is more about me and my eyes from Baltimore.
That's amazing. Your book, No Justice, No Peace. My local little bookstore had it front and center.
Tell them what's the name of the bookstore?
It was, oh man, I went a blank right now. I'll get it for you.
Yeah, but tell them
I will. I walked in and I looked at it and I walked by and I was like, wait a minute. And I backed up and I looked over. They had one copy and it was like right in the doorway. I grabbed it and brought it home with me.
Tell them I say.
Will do.
What's your local books?
Always. What's the best way to fire you my info? Is that just email you?
Yeah, you can shoot your email and everything to. So Brandy is like my sister, but that's my manager. So it's like she handles everything to make sure get information to me. It's not perfect. I'm horrible at DMs. So like I go through these like it's like a mental technique. So I'll be on Epic like done eating. Like I go on like Tuesday and then post like Friday, and I won't be on for a long time because it's like it's not good for.
No, I'm on there constantly answering questions and answering like emails and setting up appointments, and it becomes so systematic that I have to do it. I have to check it when I get up. I have to do this. So we're making all scheduling. My wife is taking over all scheduling. So she's gonna get the emails for it. My daughter takes care of any kind of marketing requests.
That's dope.
So she says she knows what I'm about and I'm about community and building people. And if they send me something and here's how much we'll pay you to do this ad, as much as I'd love the money, doesn't matter. It has to coincide with what I'm building here. So she takes care of those. It's going to be great. I can focus on the interviews and focus on the editing, but I'm going to do my first book in 1 year. So, all on the Rico. So 1 year with the Rico, and I'm producing what I shoot into a book with the stories of why I shoot, what I saw in the photo, and what photography means to me.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah. So brother, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It's been great. I look forward to catching up again and getting some advice on my projects. And just know you always have support from me. I'm a huge fan. I'm very privileged now. I feel like I can call you my friend. And who knows? One day I might end up in Baltimore, or maybe we can talk to Hobolite and we can do a collab project.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because I'm headed to New York in March for them.
Okay,
I think it is. So,
yeah, let me know. I'll be in New York in March. That's when I'm trying to do my residency. I'll be in New York by that time. So.
Awesome, man! I would love to catch up and just come up with a collaboration project we could put out together. But keep inspiring, keep pushing for the youth to learn that the life behind the lens is so important.
Yes.
Without telling proper stories, you only get one narrative.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for your time, and
Thank
enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
It's only noon here, so I'm still doing good.
Oh, it's 2:30. I'm about to go get some lunch today. it's a long week, Labor Day, so like my jaws are closed. Go hang with some.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then maybe, put a good word in for Leica for me. Be like, this guy, let me tell you.
Yeah, I need to talk with him. Since she left, I want to talk to him.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard from lots of people. Also, like Stevie Sweatpants.
Oh yeah,
Rough Draft. These are guys that I want to get on, but I'm still new, so they're not quite sure. So having someone like yourself on.
Oh yeah, they on.
So it might open it up. They might be like, oh, that guy who emailed me isn't not, he is who he says he is. This is cool. So
yeah, like it's so fun. I've been following Stevie Sweatpants for a year, and you never officially met. But that's the home. And then Rough Draft. Well, like I hooked them up for her. She at first she just wanted to like a keep. I was letting her bash with it, and then I like put the root tags, and then the hook ever since.
Nice. But yeah, man, I look forward to it. It's probably going to be a few weeks before it comes out. I've got the next 3, I think, already figured out. But I just can't thank you enough, man. Can't thank you for everything you do for the community, the inspiration, your willingness to work with youth, to spread the positive word and build people around you. I mean, you can't ask for much more, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. I'll fire you an email with my phone number, my address and stuff. If you have anything else that's coming out at any time, just let me know and we can do a quick 30-minute talk about it, get it out there. Always willing to help. So
appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your day. And I'll send you a copy probably. I'll try to get it to you 3 or 4 days before launch date.
Okay.
I'm trying to catch up. It's the last few I've been finishing at 4 a.m, the day of launch. I launch every Thursday. Okay. So I'll get you a copy a few days prior. That way you can hear it, listen to it. Let me know that it's exactly what you want. But I think the authentic conversation, it's pretty straightforward. We talk and people get to hear a great conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your day. We'll talk to you later.